trying to make sure it stays plugged up, is 8:48. I look like hell, but I always try to keep it 100% honest with y'all. And right now, I want to be completely honest and tell you this is the face of disability. This is the face of I feel great one day, and the next 2 weeks my body tries to kill me. This is, I've had almost 3 weeks being bedridden, having to build my core back up to be able to walk and function. Gypsy, I've just been so sick. My RSD got me, and it took my back out, caused a lot of swelling in my abdomen, caused a lot of swelling in my abdomen, which caused a lot of issues in my bladder, caused a lot of infection to start. The first antibiotic about killed me. The second antibiotic I'm finally functioning with. This is a near fall. I caught myself with my hand on a door frame, which I've done twice now. The first time I took a chunk out here. This time I took a chunk out here. This is just antibiotic rash, I think, right down here, but this is a chunk from a door frame. It has been an interesting month, and I always try to be honest with you, and so here I am to say I'm alive. It's been the worst month of my existence. I don't know what lesson the Lord is trying to teach me, but I think I need to be out of like the college AP courses because they're not working out for me. I don't need to be in the gifted program anymore. Yeah, I just wanted to show how horrible I look, but this is just the face of reality. This is just me trying to bounce back from everything, and this is me falling into door frames and catching myself. I was not able to get around on my own for about 2 weeks. It took help and lots of biceps that mine are leaving me, but thank God I still had enough to power through it. But yeah, I was really sick. The swelling in the abdominal cavity was the worst of it because it just made everything worse. And then today I found out that one of the healthcare insurances was dropping me, which was going to completely screw up everything, and it's going to offset because they just wanted new MRIs of my back and wanted me to have at-home care. I can't have that at-home care without that third, not primary, not secondary, tertiary insurance. 3 insurances, people. And I found out they were going to drop me, and I finally just called a lawyer group, a Medicare lawyer group, and I was like, something is not right. Why am I being billed? Should I not have been told to buy bulk Vaseline if this was the way this was going to go? Because I'm just kind of at wit's end. Tell me what I need to do. It's nice to actually be able to sit upright in the chair, even though I look like death. And the lawyer basically told me that nobody was telling me the truth because Medicare professionals are not trained to understand private insurances. Private insurances are not trained to understand Medicare. And private insurances do not want to lose their private incomes, and so they try to punish you and make you think that you can't leave them. So my husband has been paying it through his insurance at work for me and him, which is super expensive. And then I've had my little part that I pay Medicare, and then we've had a third on top of that. Come to find out, and then still wasn't meeting all our needs, and I was still paying out of pocket for a lot of medications and a lot of visits. And life was just really hard. Matter of fact, I talked to Priscilla just a few hours ago, and I was so upset with the whole world. It's just like I was done with it. I was done with it. And so I called an attorney group. And thank you for grabbing him. Just go ahead and block him, whoever it is. Some butt. So I just called an attorney group, and I was like, what the crap? And he was like, no. He's like, Medicare can't sell you a GAP program because you're not 65. Even though you're terminal, you're not 65. Like, where's the perks of having a terminal diagnosis? Should I not get perks? I am just so lucky I have a sense of humor. I should get perks for having a terminal diagnosis and going through all this, but I don't. And he was very nice, and he explained to me that I needed to have my husband drop me due to my care exacerbating our financial needs through his insurance, and having a life-changing event due to this new injury and requiring at-home care and all these new things that we can't afford now, and that he could drop me, and that would put me in a loss of coverage group to where I could get a supplement plan through Medicare. The supplement plan costs less than $440 a month. That's it. 100% coverage, 100% hospital, 100% doctor, 100% prescriptions, 100% everything. I pay $233 a deductible a year to Medicare, and then it's $437 something a month. I've been paying several $100s a month through my husband's insurance for private care. What I pay for the Medicare, plus all my extras and prescriptions that they refuse to cover, or they would bounce back and forth and bicker between private, and I just say, screw it, I'll pay for it. So now it looks like things may get better, because with this supplemental plan, they will pick up and pay for the at-home care, and I can go to any specialist, any state. There's no network. I can go anywhere. And I'm finally open to go to the Mayo Clinic if I want to go to the Mayo Clinic for my RSD. So I can finally see some of the top specialists and not be told I can't, the parameters are too, it's too much. It's all a money racket. I actually had one lady tell me it's all a money racket. So I was not the nicest person. I said wordy words. I cussed people out. But it got me what I needed. So I had to stand up for myself. And I just called the attorney group, and I was like, you're a Medicare attorney group. Either you're going to tell me what I need to know, or I'm going to let you sue the far out of somebody. And he was very informative and immediately put me in with a specialist group that basically is an umbrella over everything and can see where every region, every cost, and I got, they can guarantee I get the lowest rate from the best provider. And I was just so happy. So yeah, it's still a bill. I mean, it still takes, a large amount of my poor little piddly disability, but it will meet my needs. Now, as for David's $8,000 kidney stone bill, that one's just going to live in infamy at $10 a month until I die, just most likely. I'm not going to lie. The employer was like, oh, but you have an HSA. You should have taken a picture of the bill and sent it here and sent it there. I said, whoa, buddy, you did not train anybody on that. He did not sign documentation on training on that. So you're going to take this bill and you're going to pay from the HSA account whatever you're supposed to pay. I don't even care if it's $2. I'm going to make you pay that $2. And he's like, oh, well, it's the new year. I can't now. I said, oh, no, that don't fly with me, because if it wasn't billed correctly, you can appeal and bill it correctly. So he's going to, they will pay a little. I'm sure it won't be much, but I'm going to make them pay whatever they're supposed to pay, because that's just who I am. I get tired of doing everything by the law, and everybody else is going to do by the law. I don't mind to push my wheelbarrow, but I want everybody else to push theirs too. So that's just where I am. But I literally had to call this lawyer, and he's like, what do you want to know? I said, I want to know how my 2 crackhead neighbors that have never worked a day in their life live better than me. That's what I want to know. And he was like, I've got answers. And I was like, bless your soul. So he had all the answers. And so I was just very ecstatic to learn that all of this has just been a don't tell her, we're all making money. So as far as I'm concerned, they can all go to Hades, because I figured it out and they all lied. I'm tired. Y'all can tell from the bags under my eyes. I'm still not well. I'm not running into door frames anymore though, so this should go away soon. I promise not to have any more run-ins with the walls. This right here is just from the antibiotic. I'm just going to do that from antibiotic. But this right here was, I bit the door frame. I wanted to take myself to the bathroom like a toddler. and needed help and didn't ask for help and caught the door frame and caught my nose with my thumbnail. I've done that twice now. Caught my eyebrow the last time. Took a chunk out here last time. It's still healing now. Got a chunk there. So, and I keep my nails really short. So I don't, it's just, I'm talented. Just, you know, I'm clumsy. I know. What was I thinking? I was thinking I needed to pee. But I'm doing better. I can get myself around. It's terribly slow. My muscles are just not healing right, so they want the new MRI on my back, which will now be put off until the next month because I can't afford it now because the third insurance dropped me. In what world do you need all these insurances? It's like a bunch of dogs in a row sniffing butts. It's like, which one, where does it start and where does it end? I'm just like, woo, how did we get here? But I feel better that I will be going down to Medicare and the supplement and that they will work in conjunction. I've missed you all very much. I've just not been able. Sitting straight up was too much to ask for, well, till just maybe yesterday. So my house looks like I've left. I'll get it picked up eventually, but so next month when this new insurance, or as soon as this new insurance starts, I'm hoping April 1st, then I will be able to have the at-home care, the in-home nursing care, whatever my doctor thinks I need. We won't have to scrimp and see what will be paid for and what I can afford. It will be paid for as long as my doctor says I need it. So things should improve, but they are afraid my RSD has spread more and it's degenerating part of my back. But you know, guys, still, I have friends that it affects their heart and it affects their swallowing, and they have to live in nursing homes, and I'm not there, so I'm still doing so much better than most. Oh yeah, well, Gypsy, I mean, David had 1 kidney stone and he had 2 bags of fluid, 1 Toradol injection, and a CT, and it was $8,000 after they billed insurance. That won't be paid anytime soon. I mean, I told the woman I would pay it. And she said, would you like to set up a payment program? I said, what's the least I can send? She said, why would you do that? I said, because I have to have some joy in my life just to know that I'm shafting you. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm a nice person till I'm not. And the poor lady at Blue Cross Blue Shield probably thought I was the devil today, but I just didn't care. I was done. I was done. And I was like, why are you dropping me? And they're like, well, you're $111 over the limit for this supplement. Well, that $111 is going to cost me over $20,000 a month in the coverage that I receive. I mean, I know Common Core is in school now, but can you do math? And that was not their concern. And I was like, it should be your concern. And they're like, well, what's your plans? I said, I'm going to charter a jet just right past the Texas line, walk back across, become illegal, get a fictitious name and a social security number, and get everything for free. She said, that's not a viable option. I said, it is for millions. Yeah, at least I have a sense of humor. But this has been legit the roughest. Like, I was not getting better, and there for like 3 or 4 days, I was like, I'm not getting better. I'm not healing. I'm not able to walk. I'm not able to sit up on my own. And my insurance was like, nope, we're not going to help. Nope, we're not going to help. Nope, we're not going to help. And I was just like, and one lady asked me, she was like, well, what else can I do to help you? I was like, come knock me in the head? Because you're just leaving me in the bed and miserable? I was like, just knock me in the head. The hospitals didn't want me because I just had COVID, therefore they couldn't vaccinate me, and they couldn't say that I had COVID because I just had COVID and it was documented, so I couldn't be admitted with COVID, so they couldn't make any federal money off of me. They didn't want to touch me, and they didn't care that I was having friends around the clock taking care of me. They didn't care. So I just literally, the last few days that I've had to deal with some insurance companies, have just flown the middle finger. Hi, I'm just done with it. I'm just done with it. But I can't believe that they lied. And for 2 years, we have been fleeced out of thousands and thousands of dollars that should never have been paid. It just pisses me off. So if you get Medicare, if you get disability, and your spouse is working, don't let them con you in and say, oh, if he's working, he has to maintain you, and it has to stay your priority. That's a load of crap. If you're like me and your care exceeds what you can afford through that primary, and the others are not picking up because of the primary, the way it's set up, then you can actually ask to be dropped and do a loss of coverage request to be picked up on a supplement program. But get your supplement set up before you talk to the HR and get asked to be dropped. So we're going to save a couple $300 a month. I actually had, y'all, this blows my mind. I had one of my viewers email me and offer to come stay with me and take care of me. I've had a couple. Like Priscilla's offered to basically move in. But bless her heart, she's busy. She's doing her own thing. And I've got really great friends, so I've been taken care of. I mean, I've been taken care of, and I've got one that if I needed her right now, she'd be here in 5 minutes. I'm just terribly independent to a fault. Y'all know how I am. But I had one of my viewers email me and be like, I know you're not going to accept this, but I have had horrible medical issues, and had it not been for people that just sat down and said, let me stop my life and take care of you, I would not be alive today. So she basically offered to stop her life and just come stay with me and take care of me. Blew my mind. Complete stranger. And she was like, I'm willing to let you do a background, to let your family meet me elsewhere. And, you know, she's like, I would be concerned if somebody offered this. She was like, but I'm just throwing it out there. And I'm fortunate now that I've got stuff set up, even though we had the little hiccup with the insurance. I'm fortunate that now I'm going to be able to get the at-home care. And I'm fortunate now I'm going to be able to save a little bit of money. But to have somebody offer to do that, to care enough about a stranger to do that, and it was all because when she was struggling at her worst, I said something that kept her going. I mean, it's just, you can't understand how little interactions help people. That right there is a testament to it. Little interactions help people. Just the smallest, just to let them know that you're thinking of them, it helps people. And her email just completely made my day. So it was sweet, it helped me, and I was like, that's what the internet's for. That's what the internet's for. So I felt better. As far as the interview with Ryan, I've about died twice since we tried to set that up. Maybe Jesus doesn't want me to interview Ryan. But he's getting ready for his Nashville show, so as soon as he gets over that, and he's not had the best couple weeks either, bless his heart, Lord love him. I just want to give him a hug and go, it'll be okay, and then smack him on the back of the head. But, because he gets frustrated sometimes, I do too, but sometimes he gets a little too frustrated, but he's had a rough couple weeks too, so we'll get it set up as soon as he gets to the Nashville show and he gets a little bit of a lull. We'll get it set up and we'll get it done. It's something I definitely want to do, and hopefully I'll just keep getting healthier so that we can get it done ASAP. I bet I will look better when I do that, because I look like death. Look at my eyeballs. Look. You just seen me a few weeks ago. It was very bad. Well, it might have been a little bit better because I hadn't hit the door frame when it first happened, so I didn't have that. But I had an adverse reaction, a paradoxical reaction to the first antibiotic, and it about killed me. I just got extremely violently ill. Luckily, I'm so used to having my cell phone in my hand. I have my cell phone in my hand. I remember just vomiting my guts out. And I just remembered I needed to get back in bed. Like, my brain was not functioning. I just knew I needed to get back in bed. And I was just dead set on getting back in the bed. And I dropped my phone on a soft bed. And somehow my phone dialed my best friend that was 5 minutes away. Imagine that. And so I hear this voice. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, where are you at? And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm trying to get in the bed. I'm sick. Why did you call me? And she's like, I didn't call you. You called me. And I'm like, I didn't call you. I'm sick. And she's like, you're not making a lot of sense. And she was like, and she was out of the county when I called her. And she was like, I'm on my way. And she lead-footed it home to me. And I was very ill. And had what we found out after the blood work was a very bad reaction to the antibiotic. It was basically making me insane. It's making me so violently ill and insane. It affected my brain. And my doctor was like, this is so rare. He was like, you've taken this antibiotic so many times. And he was like, I am so sorry. But again, I always need IV antibiotics, but none of the hospitals wanted me. We don't have a local hospital, so I have to be farmed out, and nobody wanted me. So I had to do the oral antibiotics, and I just don't always do well with them. And so the adverse reaction to the antibiotics set off a whole nother issue, and that's why otherwise I think I would have already been well by now. So that's been my world. I look like I've been hit by a Peterbilt with a front end roll bumper, like roll cage, roadkill cage or something. I feel like I've been run over several times, to be quite honest. I'm amazed I'm doing as well today as, and I think honestly the only reason I'm doing well is I've had adrenaline in my system because I've been mad. So yay for adrenaline. But this is what disability looks like, and this is what RSD looks like. They call it CRPS now, but I was diagnosed when it was reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And I can function well for sometimes a month or two at a time, but when it decides to attack and mess up my nerve impulses and screw things up and deal with my muscles and tendons, that lady goes down hard, and nothing heals correctly, and I have issues with medication now because of it as well. So I'm telling you, it's been a rough month. My poor husband, bless his heart, he tried to video, like I had really good friends that would stay with me, and I was like, David, you work so many hours a day, please still go check your traps and get out and clear your head, because he was taking care of me, helping literally to shower me and back and forth to the bathroom and trying to do dishes and laundry, and bless his heart, work on top of that. And so he was able to at least go check his traps, which is just like a 15-20 minute jaunt every day, but he at least did videos, and so that gave me something to do when I felt good in the evenings. So that was sweet. He actually was trying, and he might continue that. He's enjoyed it. But he needed that outlet, and I don't want him always taking care of me. It is a vicious cycle. I keep telling people, it's very much like MS, but MS has the drugs that they can give you that kind of softens the flares. So MS is more of a mine is like this, because they've not found anything that can stop the nerve flares, the impulse issues, and the way it affects the organs. So when it just sets in, it just kind of short circuits my entire system, and I really never know how it's going to affect me. And it normally is digestive issue or pancreatic issue with me. Or legs, because I'm slowly going crippled because it started in my legs, so that's where the most damage is. Which is why I'm sitting every time you see me, because if I were to try to walk, it's pathetic. Even me walking when I think I'm walking good is horrendously slow to most people. But to be bedbound for 2 weeks it about drove me insane. Yeah, the stress has been horrible, and that's the first thing I talked to with my doctor was the stress, and thank God I have a sense of humor. I literally watched like 3 seasons of Married at First Sight and diagnosed all the people. Because there's some really crazy people that go on that show. So yeah, that took a little bit of my time, but for the most part I was so tired I slept. It's a very rare disorder. There's very little research, hardly any funding. I've not been able to see a specialist because they're all there's one per region. And I live in Appalachia where there's nobody. But my doctors have been really good to work with with a unit with the neurologist group and my joints and tendon people, and then my PCP. They've all been good to keep in touch and try to figure it out, and basically all you can do is treat it symptomatically. But it's just kind of a crapshoot, and that's why work was such a hard thing for me to continue, because I might do good for a month, And then I would be hospitalized for a week and a half. And they would get so irritated with me, they'd be like, we're sorry, we have to let you go. We can't do this. Even though my work was great, when I got sick, it was too hard on them, and I couldn't. So that's why I ended up having to leave. I don't know, we have Oak Ridge. I don't know, we have Oak Ridge. So Oak Ridge kind of changes your view on Appalachia if you research Oak Ridge. We have a lot of nuclear holding areas in this place. I mean, it's just riddled with them. But yeah, I've been keeping up with the world events, and I think it's all stupid because America, who's just opened their gates and let everybody, God, Jesus, and Jesus, and everybody in. Look, we've not cared about our own borders, but all of a sudden we care about borders halfway across the world. And somebody asked me what I thought was going on, and I very eloquently said, Joe Biden and his family's bank is being forcefully renovated. And I think that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, the only benefit we've had from Ukraine would be financial, and a lot of our congressmen and women, their children start out there and get very big board memberships and very big incomes, and get kind of established for life. And it's kind of been everybody's piggy bank for a while. And so I can understand why that's frustrating for a lot of people, but I can also understand that the people there are put in a very bad position. But then again, it's just, I don't know, it bothers me to see our president care about something half the world away when he's not really done anything for our nation. And we've been just overrun, but he's worried about another part of the world being overrun. But we've been overrun. That's one of the reasons I actually lost the tertiary supplemental aid, the health insurance, was because the mandates have changed, because all the states have been flooded. Tennessee has been flooded the most by the new illegals, and the welfare system and the Medicaid system and all that has been overrun. And so I had a little, like, if something went over a certain amount of money, I had a little Medicaid clause that would pick it up for me, but only if it went over a certain amount that I couldn't pay out of pocket. And that was really good for hospitalizations and stuff. They changed all the numbers on it, and now David makes $111 over the limit, so they cannot even give me that small clause anymore. So for like emergency hospitalizations and surgeries, I was screwed. No at-home health. That was my little bubble of help. And they did that because it's being overwhelmed and they have too many new families and children, and they had to reevaluate. And I was like, great. So I've worked my entire life, paid into the system my entire life. My husband's still working his butt off. We get no aid of any kind. That was it. And you took it away from me and gave it to somebody who just showed up. Thank you. I mean, I pay taxes for how long? I mean, it's just like, gee, thank you. So it kind of hit home for me that things have been mishandled and are affecting people like me, but it's not in the limelight, so not a whole lot of people see it. So I've been frustrated. I thought his speech the other night was stupid. I thought his mouth was writing a bunch of checks his behind can't cash, and he's just saying anything he could say to feel better, make everybody feel better. But as soon as he leaves the podium, he's going to completely turn back into the potato in chief and not do a dadgum useful thing. So I got no use for the man. I have no use for most politicians. So yeah, I know. It's like I should have bought like Vaseline or KY jelly. I asked the insurance lady if I should have bought stock in Vaseline. So, but I finally got everything, I think, straightened out. So as long as I can get this drop from this insurance and get a changeover, I should be okay. But my muscles are getting really sore. I'm getting really tired from sitting here, so I'm going to have to go back to the recliner. But I wanted to check in. I promise not to look like this next time I see you, but I just wanted to be completely honest. And this is me looking much better than I was last week, but I still look like death. Yes, I caught the door frame with my face. Well, I caught it with my hand, and my hand caught my face. But I am better. and I think I have 4 or 5 more days of antibiotics. And it's just my back is not healing correctly, and so we think something may be going on there with RSD. So I've got to have a new MRI as soon as the new insurance gets finagled around and see what's going on. Because it's not, you know, my back will sometimes go out when all this abdominal swelling stuff happens, but I normally bounce back really quickly, and I'm not bouncing back. And my muscles are like, we hate you, you know, and I'm like, chill, people. But thank God I have these big shoulders and still have a lot of upper body strength, because I'm telling you, I bet you I've lost 15 pounds just from being sick. Not going to hurt me. I could lose half my hind end and wouldn't notice it. But it makes you think when you're stuck in bed and you have to deal with these things. It makes you think about, like my son hit his busiest time ever. We had a break in weather and he could not come help, and he felt bad, and I was like, don't feel bad. This is not your fight. You know, you're just a good kid. Don't feel bad. My daughter did come in for a weekend. She cleaned my kitchen and reorganized everything that I have screwed up since I've been so sick, and kind of got the house shaped up, but she still had a lot of schoolwork to do, so she was on her computer a lot, but sporadically trying to help get some stuff cleared up. And Kim has been a lifesaver. So my best friend Kim has just been a phone call away and sat with me every night for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I am super blessed to have the people in my life I have. But I would like to have like a bionic back right now. I will take care of myself. I'm not overdoing it. And probably you'll get much more content from Dave before you get it from me. But at least we're moving forward. And I promise not to catch any more door frames. I have been on my rolly cart, but it's very difficult to get my rolly cart down the hallway because I'm too lazy to move the laundry basket. It got moved. And so I had walked, and I just did not have the last few steps in my legs. They just were not going to work. And hit the door. I caught the door frame, but I hit my hand. And I didn't fall all the way down, but made quite the event. So it was, no, I just felt stupid since then. So my husband's like, well, you just ask for help. And I was like, okay. But my poor husband is about to break. So on his hunting videos that I've put up, his trapping videos, you just could go leave him a positive message, because he's such a good man. He's such a rock. And I know I'm stressing him out. I feel so bad for him. But he is such a great guy. And he works so hard. And he really loves fur trapping. And that landowner that he caught all those beaver on last week is ecstatic, because it's a campground property, and they were flooding, they were losing money because they were flooding half their campsites. And they were like, we can't get rid of these stupid things. And he went in there and literally in 2 weeks eradicated the problem. And they're like, holy crap, we had no idea. And David's like, he doesn't charge these people anything. He just does it for the fur, and then he makes stuff out of the fur, and that's his payment. But it's his way of chilling out. And he really enjoys it. He's really good. TWRA will put him, if you call with a beaver problem in our region, they give you my number so you can contact my husband. And that's how good he is at what he does. And it's always, he doesn't like to talk. He's very man of few words. He's a bumpkin like me, but he did a lot of work, and he's come a long way on those videos. And so if y'all will just go on some of those videos and leave him a nice comment, because he has been the best husband ever. Like, y'all know how much I love him, and how much just he's like the golden Boy Scout of eternity. Like, there will be no St. Peter when he dies. It's just straight through the gates, because he's such a good man. I will have to sit there and answer for several things. My husband will just be straight through. But if you just could go and just leave him some positive affirmations on his hunting stuff, because I'm trying to make him want to do it more, and to maybe do some lives and get to know you all a little bit better, because he is a character when you get to know him. He's just very shy. I have a shy bone in my body. That's why I'm on the internet looking like this. But he's tried very hard, and I don't think in our small area he's had enough people to tell him how upstanding of a guy he is. So, you know, and during all this, one of his best friends has been going through cancer surgery and lost like so many feet of their intestine, and so he's had other stresses besides me. But yeah, I've been his priority. Can't find many men like that. I mean, he's just a rare gem. Yeah, I knew that I wanted to marry him. We had just been out on a few dates, and I was literally, of all men, like, I was okay for the world to combust and all men to die. Not lying, I was there. And he had conned his way through my best friend, who was married to his brother, into a couple of dinner dates. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll be nice. And once we started talking, I thought, well, he's just a level-headed guy. Well, he took me fishing, and that was like the third time we actually spent time together. He took me fishing. And I remember as he was driving to the fishing hole, and he was telling me about his week, and he had stopped at the graveyard to haul dirt and level up the graves because his grandfather's grave had sunk. But once he noticed that his grandfather's grave had sunk, he noticed all the other graves in the cemetery that had sunk too. So he hauled dirt every evening that week to fill in all the graves and reseeded them with grass. That's my husband. If he did it for his family, even though he wasn't related to anybody else in the cemetery, he did it for everybody's grave. That's my husband. And it's a very old cemetery. That's my husband. He's just one of those. And I'm like, he was telling me that, and I just remember sitting there thinking, if my little boy grows up to behave like this man, I will have been the best mother ever. I could have raised a man, no problem. Look at me. I could have raised a fine young man. But when I saw that out of David, I was like, yeah. He did a couple of things before he actually got me to a couple of dates with, I had a radiator issue, and he had bumped into the ex-husband while he was putting a radiator in, and I didn't know him at the time. He just did that because his brother was supposed to do it and could not. And the way he behaved and held himself that night and dealt with my ex-husband and his new wife and the crap they stirred, I thought, he's a nice guy. And that's why I gave him the first couple of dates. And I wasn't going to turn down fishing because I'll go fishing with anybody. But when he told me that story, we were going fishing, I was like, yeah. And then, like, we were dating, and he had another family member die, and they couldn't afford to pay for the grave to be dug, so he dug the grave. My husband dug the grave. The family couldn't afford, like, they were trying to do the funeral as small as possible to save money. A very poor family. My husband dug the grave. You know, he was he's still very strong, but we're getting old. I'm getting older. He's still a powerhouse. I'm very much getting soft and domesticated, but he's just one of those men you don't find very often. Like, people are like, he doesn't wear a wedding ring. Well, no, because he's handling chainsaws and steel traps and working on big machines in a factory, and I don't want him to lose an arm or a finger. And they're like, what? Or doesn't that scare you? No, because he knows he's married up here. It doesn't matter what's on here. So, good man. Trust him with everything. But yeah, if you could go on his videos and leave him like a positive and thank him for all that work, and because he knows that a lot of people do not enjoy that way of life, but to him it's very important. And he and my son are both what I call old souls. They have to keep the old ways alive. So if you could just give him a positive, I would appreciate it, because he's just he's a dandy. He deserves a trophy. He deserves a better wife. To be honest, he deserves a healthier wife. But yeah, I'm getting back to mischief, though. I'm getting back to sarcastic, hateful me. But I'm exhausted, so I'm going to go and lay in the recliner until David gets home. But I love you all. I've missed you all. I felt every prayer and thought sent my way. And Priscilla's kept close tabs on me. If I ever get sick, Priscilla, a country Christian, will normally know what's going on with me, and she can do updates. She has my complete permission to do updates if I'm sick, to tell you how I'm doing. Y'all can go check in with her and see how I'm doing. She's kept a really close eye on me. And so I've been well taken care of. This has been a big one. And I'm taking a long, hard road to bounce back. But I'll get there. And God help whoever they do assign to be my home caregiver. Sure, that will be adjustment for whoever they do assign to me eventually. But I'm hoping in April or May to have that start. So, but I'm exhausted. And I've got to take that antibiotic after I eat. I don't even want to. But I will be back in a day or two. I have learned to crochet. Messy as it is, I did learn to crochet. And I'm working on a rooster pot holder. Patience, very thin, but I've learned. But it's helping my hand, so I'll continue to do it. But things are getting better. And don't forget about me. I will be back. I'm so glad. Gypsy, I'm so glad you caught me. So, hang in there, guys. I will be back. And as soon as can sit here a little bit longer, and Ryan gets through the Nashville show, I'll hit him up and we'll get that taken care of. Bless his heart, Instagram's been a turd to him lately. I feel sorry for him. And he's had a rough time, so go show Ryan some love too. I don't know what exactly, I can almost imagine what's going on, but he's had a rough time. Go show Ryan some love too. He needs positivity right now. I just feel it. I feel something's going on that I just know I want to talk to. David's a sweetie. Like my husband is, I don't deserve him. He's a sweetheart. I'm going to go eat my chicken salad and take my antibiotic. And then I'm going to let Oscar curl up in my lap as my secondary heating pad, and I'm going to rest. So I will see you all in another day or two as soon as I have more strength. I'm alive. Kicking. And when I'm not anymore, somebody will come on here and tell you. But right now, I'm still here. Mama Liz, back to the recliner where I live. Bye, y'all.